Anyway, I'm Jerry, and I had my transplant here at Mayo on May 7th of 2017, and I am very lucky today to be joined by a very special person in my life, my brother and my caregiver, AJ Michaels over here. AJ was with me every step of the way, and we're all patients and caregivers, and we need to have, both of us to make it work, as you all know. And today I'm here for many reasons. One is because I have a chapter in the book, which I'm proud of. I can't wait to read it. And also for Donate Life. There are a lot of different things here. Feel free to take a bracelet, a fan, a pamphlet, or whatever you want. And the other thing I'm going to say, I'm going to get my little plug in here to all of you before I introduce our guest star of the evening, is I have been asked to be the North Florida coordinator for the Transplant Games of America, which will be next May in San Diego. And Lezlee will be there signing her book at the Donate Life table and speaking there. And you don't have to be an athlete to go. Like the first time that AJ went with me to Salt Lake City, I did Texas Hold'em poker and bowling, which I actually won a gold medal in, which I'm very proud of, and darts. And then when I went overseas, I went to the World Transplant Games in Newcastle in the UK and met people from all over the world. And I mean to tell you, when you meet people that had transplants 28 years ago, 34 years ago, and they're still doing great, it gives us all a lot of hope. Well, without further ado, I want to turn the microphone over to our dear friend Lezlee and just say thank you so much for writing this amazing book. And if you haven't been on YouTube yet, please go on YouTube and hit a like on her song. I can't get it out of my head. And you'll notice some of the stars of her, or as I say, the extras of her music video are here in the room tonight. So here you go, Lezlee. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yay! Wow, this is really special. 18 months ago, I was sitting in our rented condominium in St. Augustine, and we were desperately waiting for Rob to get his liver transplant. He'd been on the transplant list for a year in New York, and the odds of him getting a transplant there were very low. So he decided to do a lot of research, and we found out that his chances were greater here in Florida. So Rob, being the numbers guy that he is, decided that Mayo Clinic was the best choice, and thank God our insurance covered it. And so he was here first. We were coming back and forth with our children, ages 11 and 15 at the time. And then the world, as we knew it, stopped being normal with COVID. So March of 2020, I jumped on a one-way flight with Sky and River. We came down not knowing how long we would be here. And all of you in the support group that is every Tuesday, from 11 to 12. First it was live, and then it became virtual. I was listening to these stories and, reached out to so many people, especially as a caregiver, you feel so helpless, and you really hold on to the hope of, the stories that people went through, and you couldn't believe. I was shocked at what I was hearing, and so I thought, first I'm going to write and let the world know about what we're going through, and through social media, which I did, and many people said, I can't wait for the next installment. And I thought, well, maybe there's a book here. But I didn't want to just write about us, because I didn't know that I had 236 pages to write about. And if I did, it might be a little much. So I said, I want to reach out to all of you, whoever is interested, to see about writing your chapters. And so I sent an early text to, Lynn and Alicia and Andy and Jerry and Tuesday Jerry, first I said, well, write down your story first, and then we'll do a Zoom interview. And Jerry was the first to give me his. And when you look at it on paper, you just can't believe what he went through. And then I began using the Zoom platform and recorded and transcribed. And for me, it kept me going. You know, I needed this to cope, to have something positive to look forward to. And then I expanded it with some of the transplant professionals because I really felt like people needed to know the process of organ donation transplantation. So once the book was completed in October, November, I went to figure out how to get it out there, and that's a whole different ball game. But I had a vision. I wanted it to be done pretty much by the year anniversary of his transplant, which everyone told me was not going to happen. Oh, you don't know the publishing business. It takes a year and a half. Even if you get signed in January, your book won't come out until fall of 2022. And I said, but I've got too much work to do. I gotta let people know how important this is. I can't wait for another year and a half. So we happened to just walk into this little bookstore in Amelia Island. Thank you to Trank for suggesting it. And somebody wrote down, oh, you're looking to publish your book? Because I asked, do you have any stories of transplant patients? No, that's so interesting. And Marie Fenn, phone number. Called Marie, and she happened to know Susan Caples of the Caples Foundation. She was very close to their daughter, Katie, who unfortunately passed away, and they donated the family her organs and created a wonderful foundation. So, you know, she was familiar with how important this is, and it's a very emotional, you know, on both sides. So she took me on, and we created this incredible book, Saved by a Stranger. I mean, I'm so proud of it, and if you'd like, I'd like to read the first chapter. Y'all can sit down if you want. Okay. I'm gonna get my reader here.
Sky,
She's
Mommy.
prepared.
help Mommy. There's a microphone there.
Okay. How sweet of you. Sky Bellanich. Chapter 1, the final anticipated moment. September 10, 2020, St. Augustine, Florida. How quickly can you get to the hospital? Asked Inga, the on-call procurement nurse at Mayo Clinic. It was a little after midnight. We'd been resting in the rented condo when the phone rang and Rob put the caller on speakerphone. We both sat up in disbelief. We can be there in 45 minutes. Good. The liver is going to you. This is a good liver. There are no high risks. Go straight to the ER and you will be directed from there. Oh my God, oh my God. I grabbed a bag, stuffed some clothes in it, snatched my computer and told our sleepy daughter, Sky, what was happening. She got up in bed. She shot up in bed. What? Daddy's getting a liver? We don't know for sure, but we have to go to the hospital. At 11 years old, Sky fully understood the importance of this moment. The hospital had called about a half an hour early to let us know that there were 2 livers available for transplant and that one of the intended recipients might not match the size of the organ. So there was a chance Rob might be chosen instead. But we had been through this before and it hadn't worked out. At 12:15 a.m., Rob and I got in the car with the Florida sky flashing lightning bolts and the rain pouring down. Wouldn't it be ironic, I thought, if we got in a car accident on the way to the hospital? As we drove to Jacksonville, I kept thinking of the donor and prayed for his or her family. Part of me felt guilty for being so grateful, knowing someone's life needed to end for Rob to receive his gift. Rob and I both decided we did not want to tell our inner circle of people what was happening yet, in case it was another dry run, which is when the surgery appears imminent but has to be canceled. Perhaps we jinxed it last time. Still, we texted 3 individuals for specific reasons. Heidi, our neighbor, so she would know to take care of Sky the next morning, Andy, Rob's liver transplant support mentor, and Jerry, another transplant recipient, both of whom had been like comrades. That was it. For the first time in my life, I kept something to myself about sharing it with family and close friends. It was real and just between us. At 12:58 a.m., we reached the ER, checked in, and followed a nurse up to room 317. Rob went through the same prep as he had done before, except this time, the anesthesiologist Ryan came in to talk to us, and then we met with surgeon Dr. Shannon Mao, a young woman in her mid-30s. Dr. Mao was calming with long, light brown hair, graceful, thin arms, and delicate hands. She showed us a picture on her phone of the new donor liver, which looked pink and beautiful, both lobes. I asked Dr. Mao where she studied, and she said she went to Harvard Medical School and then Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Ah, Harvard. I commented approvingly. Rob, how do you feel about that? He nodded in agreement. I have a request, Rob said to the doctor. Can you please take a picture of my old liver and of the new liver going in? Absolutely, Dr. Mao said. A few hours passed, and at 4:15, nurses came in with a wheelchair. What is your name and date of birth? One of the medical team members asked Rob, and he answered. And what are we doing today? Liver transplant, Rob proudly responded. Finally, it was all coming together. We'd been waiting for more than 2 years, first in New York and then since October 2019 on a wait list in Northeast Florida for this miraculous moment. And it had been many more years of pain, stress, tension, and worry since Rob was diagnosed with a progressive illness that had no known cause and could not be cured without a transplant. Now, while my husband went to the operating room, there would be more waiting for me during the surgery. I had time to reflect on how much had happened in our lives, what we had gone through, and everyone who'd been part of our journey. Thank you. So Rob, you are the main star of the show. Without
Really?
you,